A new Pokemon Presents happened earlier today, and with it we got new trailers for Pokemon Champions and Pokemon Legends ZA. They showcased a new way to train your Pokemon, alongside a new in-game currency that has been confirmed to only be obtainable by playing the game. They also revealed the first brand new Mega Evolution for Legends ZA. Let me know down below what you guys thought of the presents, but now, let's jump into it. So, I'm sure we're all well aware at this point, but a brand new trailer for Pokemon Champions was released in the Pokemon Presents, and with it we got a whole bunch of information. Now, thankfully, the Pokemon Company has updated it all here over on the website. So let's kind of just go through it all. I just want to, I guess, really just discuss all my thoughts on it, right? So first thing here, we do see Pokemon Champions arrives in 2026. This one, a little heartbreaking. I was definitely a big believer that we were going to get it this year. I was really hoping for that, that dropped shortly after Worlds, going into the new season with it. But it does look like it is going to be next year. Obviously, we're not too sure when. The later they push out this date, I guess the more I'm worried that it is going to be like an end of 2026, which kind of disappointing, but I mean, it is what it is, right? I do think there is a chance we do get the official, I guess, date revealed next week at the World Championship. I am really hoping for that. But again, obviously, we will have to wait and see. But yes, 2026 currently is, it's all we know, right? So yeah. But anyway, we have a bunch more information. So as we see here, you've got assembling your ideal team. Expand your Pokemon roster with new friends. You can bring some of your past partners into Pokemon Champions through Pokemon Home, and you can recruit Pokemon from within the game. Now, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here, just so you guys have a, yeah, that looks a lot better. Should have started off like this. But as you guys can see here, there's a couple screenshots with a lot of things going on. Now, as you can see here, there's quite a bit, right? So we have, we're hovering over the Sneasler here. There's a Pokeball with a 0 next to it. I'm going to assume this is the game's way of saying, like, hey, you don't currently own a Sneasler. Same with the Hydrapple here. And then also we see 14 out of 30, which I do believe, again, just from looking through the trailer, I believe that's our box space. And this kind of brings up the idea of, how do you get bigger box space, right? And also kind of leads into the monetization of the game. So, like, again, we see 14 out of 30. This could simply be because the trainer hasn't, filled up the first box. Therefore, they just haven't unlocked the second box yet. I think there's a world as well where we're potentially using the VP that we see in the top right here. Can you guys see my mouse? Yeah, you guys can see my mouse. Using this here, maybe you have to upgrade your boxes. And so, hey, maybe it's like the first box upgrades 100, the second box upgrades 200, so on and so forth, and you buy more boxes, something like that. The third option, I think, is they're probably just going to lump this in with Pokemon Home. And again, this comes down to the monetization because, again, like, I'll kind of skip to the bottom real quick because I did mention it in the intro. But we do see here that victory points can be obtained from ranked battles and other places in Pokemon Champions. You'll need VP to recruit and train Pokemon. VP cannot be directly purchased, so keep battling and gaining VP to power up your team and even more. So this basically, to me, screams that this game, it probably doesn't have microtransactions. At worst, it's probably just going to be a battle pass. But to me, this does scream, hey, this game's got to be paid for in some capacity, right? Whether that be there's a price tag on the game. Hey, it's 20, 40, 60, 80, whatever, right? They're going to be like, you buy the game once, you're done, which I do know a lot of people do want. Personally, like, I'm all for buying the game. Like, I'm not going to, if they tell me it's $50, I'm going to buy it. I've said it for a while now, and I have got some shit for it, but I do think for the most people to get into this game, it does need to be free to play. But obviously, who knows, right? At this stage, it does look like there's going to be no microtransactions. Because of that, I do think that probably leans to them saying, hey, no microtransactions in the game. But obviously, we don't know. They could add a battle pass or something like that. But the other option, as I kind of mentioned earlier, I believe, I could see a world where they lump this in with Pokemon Home. And maybe, it's just like an added subscription similar to, I guess, NSO, right? You've got the base NSO, and then you've got the, like the NSO Plus or whatever. So, yeah, I did just kind of want to mention that here. But yeah, we'll scroll back up. Obviously, mention the box sizes here. The VP as well. Again, we'll discuss this as we go through because this is one of the big things that was kind of announced in this trailer, right? Is VP is now in the game. You can use it to recruit Pokemon. Do they actually show it here? They do. So you can use it to like recruit a Pokemon. And you can also use it to train a Pokemon, which again, we'll go through later. There is also, 10 Pokemon showcased here. I am really interested to see how this is going to work because it doesn't look like you can go onto like another page. So I am curious if this is going to be like a rotating set of Pokemon each week where it's like, hey, each week there's going to be 10 Pokemon that are like the featured Pokemon of the week. And with that, you can use this trial recruitment. Again, this could just affect all Pokemon. I'm not entirely too sure. But do keep in mind when it comes to like recruiting of Pokemon, we do know that Pokemon that are obtainable in Champions, as long as you can get them on in Champions, you can transfer that mon from home. So if you have it from a past game, you probably don't need to rent these Pokemon. which I do think is cool. You know, as someone who basically plays all the games, I've completed all the dexes for like the last 3 generations. I got every Pokemon, so, you know, I'm not too stressed about that. But as we do go on here, we do see trial recruitment. Have a Pokemon join your team for a trial period. You can battle Pokemon with the you can battle with it right away to test whatever it will suit your strategy. You can use trial recruitment once a day without using victory points, also known as VP. So one thing, I don't know if it's actually mentioned here, we'll kind of go on to it, but I believe I read somewhere you can't actually train the trial Pokemon, or like the ones you like recruit via trials. From what I understand, these are just like, you're probably just going to get given a set and that's what you got to use. So I think for beginners, that's probably best, right? Because again, like we do see Gardevoir showcase later on in these screenshots. So like, I think if you're like a beginner player who's like not comfortable with like training your own Pokemon or knowing where to put EVs, what moves you should put on them on, I actually do think this is a really good feature. And I really do hope that they have like default sets you can use. Like say, hey, I really want to use Gardevoir. You know, maybe you don't know how to play the game. Like, hey, this is like the recommended set, right? And it would be really cool if they had like features where it's like, oh, you know, Gardevoir should have Psychic, but if you put it on a team with Indeedee, it's like, oh, maybe you should have Expanding Force. Going to be really curious to see how they kind of do that. And then we do see here as well permanent recruitment. Once you found a Pokemon that's a good match for you, you can God, I can't read today. It can be added to your team permanently. To do this, you'll need to use victory points. So we do see here that you purchase these mons for 1,000 VP. Now, again, this comes down to like a big question of like, how do you earn the VP? And like, if we just like kind of skip back to the bottom here, it does specifically mention like, hey, you need VP to recruit these Pokemon, right? And to train them. It also mentions that you get it from ranked battles and other places throughout the game. A big question is going to be like how much, right? Because if we skip forward, we should see, yes, the Gardevoir screenshot here down the bottom right. You see here, you know, to put Psychic on this Pokemon, to give it a different ability, to max out its speed EVs, to give it a timid nature. This costs 764 VP. Now, of course, by the looks of it, this Gardevoir already did have a maxed out special attack stat. So you could probably add another 64 VP onto this. But let's just say, let's round up for the sake of it. Let's just say it costs you 1,000 VP to train a Pokemon, right? Especially because Trace is also a normal ability for Gardevoir. It's not a hidden ability, so hidden abilities might be more. But yeah, so for the sake of this, let's just round up. Let's just say 1,000, right? So if it costs me 1,000 VP to train one Pokemon, how much do you get, you know, per battle, for example? Like if I win, do I get 1,000 VP? Do I get 3,000? Do I get 5,000? That's going to be the big question to me, because I don't think, like, 5,000 seems like too much, because it's like, oh, you win one battle, you recruit 5 new Pokemon, you win another battle, you can train 5 new Pokemon. Like, that seems a bit crazy, but I could definitely see a world where, like, for each win, you get 1,000 VP, and I think that would be good, right? Because you build a team, you know, as long as you get, say, 12 wins with the team, you've just earned enough VP to essentially build a new team, right? Again, assuming that, you know, roughly 1,000 is what you need to train them on. So that is definitely cool. There's also as well stuff, I think I was watching, like, Moxie's video earlier, and they were talking about like the rewards you get for the end of the season hitting Master Ball. Like, I think right now, dude, I haven't actually played ranked in months, but it's like, I think you get like 100,000 like league points or whatever it is if you like finish the season in Master Ball. If they did something similar to this, that would be crazy, because it's like you get Master Ball once and it's like you can buy and train 50 different Pokemon. To me, that would be like awesome. That would be unreal. But anyway, we skip forward a little bit there. Actually, no, that's actually fine. That's kind of where we were going next. Awesome. Because there's a lot of cool stuff to mention here as well. So, train your Pokemon. Tailor your team's skills in the training feature of Pokemon Champions. By using VP, you can hone your Pokemon's attack, defense, and other stats. You can even alter their abilities and moves, customize your team to match your battle style. Though, remember that you can't train Pokemon during their trial period. So, this is what I was kind of mentioning earlier with this. So again, if you do a trial recruitment, it looks like you're not actually going to be able to train it yourself. I'm assuming you're just going to be given a set, right? And this Gardevoir set here is like probably what we're going to be given roughly. But yeah, so there's a lot of cool things going on this screen. This is probably the most important thing in the trailer, in my opinion. So one, we have a slider. Now, I do have Pokemon Showdown open on this screen here as well, so you guys can see. So as you guys can see, we have a slider. This here, massive, right? This is what makes playing on like Pokemon Showdown so much better than in-game. It's like, hey, this is the set I want. And it's funny too, I mentioned this in like videos when this game was first announced back in July, sorry, not January, July, God, I'm an idiot, February. And I got roasted. People are like, no, there's never going to be a slider in Pokemon. I'm like, it just makes too much sense not to, right? I'm almost certain I literally said this exact same thing. Hey, give us a slider, it's going to cost X amount of in-game currency. And bang, what do you know? We have it, right? There's another really cool thing here as well, though, that I do want to mention. So as you guys can see here with this Gardevoir, this is a level 50 Gardevoir, right? So you can see 175 HP. That's why I have my Gardevoir ready to go. So max HP, 175. You also see here, max special attack goes to 194. This is with a modest nature. So if I quickly just go modest, we're going to see here 194. Perfect. But we're also going to see they have 137 special defense. That is not possible as currently constructed. As you can see, I am out of EVs and I have 136. So it does look like we are no longer going to be wasting EVs, because essentially the way it works right now is every Pokemon can have 510 EVs, but you can only really use 508 of them. So you have 2 EVs that have basically been pointless for, well, the entirety of the EV system. With this now, though, it does look like they are probably bumping us up to 512 EVs, which is very, very cool. And again, that one extra stat point can go like a long way. Like, for example, I don't know, like, if people know this, but like, for example, like Chen Power's a mon in the past where you had to like run this. This basically gave you the what do you call it? The like a better chance to live Urshifu, right? Like this literally takes you from like there's a chance of dying to Urshifu to like you never die to like a normal Surging Strike. So because of that, like this is something a lot of people would do, and you would see like stat spreads like this. But like having that extra point now to just like say I've got that like 1 extra HP, again, it just changes those calcs so much. So it is really, really important. And I do think it's like really cool to see. Again, it's going to be interesting because like again, like you're not the max isn't changing. So like you don't get faster, you don't get more like special attack out of this. But having that extra point to play around with in some of your defensive stats, I do think is going to be really big, especially like for things like bulky Flutter Mane and whatnot. Like, you know, you want to hit your certain defensive calcs. Now you have that like 1 extra special attack point, which again doesn't seem like much, but when you're like investing so many points into your bulk, even I think having that little bit of extra special attack is going to be really, really big. But yeah, as we see here, you know, this doesn't seem too expensive, which is cool. Also, maxing out the HP costing 0 VP is kind of crazy. I wonder why that is. I've just realized that too, because earlier didn't we not see like, where was it? Wasn't there like a, yeah, down here to put points into the speed. I wonder if they had to take points out of HP to do that. That's another interesting question as well, actually. Like, say I train my Mon, and then I'm like, hey, I want to take some points out of HP. They're going to charge me to take it out of HP. That's going to be very interesting. I am curious to see how that goes. Oh, actually, no, sorry. We literally see it right here, dude. I'm literally, like, talking about it. No, we see it right here. They go from max to none. It's VP. Okay, so it literally costs you nothing to remove the other stats. That's actually really nice. Then we also see here as well, like, a nice little page for our natures here, which is again really, really cool. It costs you 200 VP to change your nature. That's completely fine, right? Again, as long as there's good ways to earn in-game currency, that's going to be fantastic. And then yeah, you see this. In order for them to max out their speed stat, you know, change the nature to timid, add psychic, and swap their ability to trace, it will cost 764 VP. Honestly, not bad. Obviously, you know, there are some Pokemon where you might want to switch out, you know, all of their moves, right? For example, this Gardevoir doesn't have Protect. So I'm hoping for its sake, it's holding a Choice Scarf. Timid Choice Scarf with Icy Wind seems pretty good. Like, your Gardevoir is almost always going to have Moonblast on it. That's completely fine. You know, your Psychic is a really good move. You're probably always going to have that unless you're running something like Psychic Terrain. Therefore, you're going to want, like, Expanding Force, right? So, not too bad there. But yeah, this here, to me, this page we're looking at is the biggest change to Pokemon Champions. Or, like, just competitive Pokemon in general. Unbelievable. You're going to be able to train teams within minutes. Like, if you've got a horde of VP, which I'm assuming a lot of like ranked players are going to have, like personally, like, I'll tell you right now, my game plan when this game first drops is to build a team and make rank 1 pushes. If I'm playing like 100 straight games with the exact same team, you best believe I'm going to have just a massive surplus of VP. So that is like really, really good. We also see here enjoy Pokemon battles, right? So 3 battle modes, 3 battle modes and 2 formats. So this is a good way, I guess, to start. I do really hope they expand on this in the future. So we do see here, right, there are 3 different modes of Pokemon battles. You can play ranked, casual, and private. This is big. One, ranked we already knew about. I believe ranked was the only confirmed one off the top of my head. Maybe casual was as well. Or honestly, all 3 could have actually been confirmed, and I'm just blanking because the only one I personally care a lot about is ranked. Casual battles are still really interesting. The only time I ever played casual battles in the past was when I was like making videos on new formats and I just didn't have people to play against. So it was like, oh, new format, you know, I'm just going to queue up with that team. That's whatever for me. But I do know some people like casual battles because I know a lot of people out there get like ladder anxiety. They don't want to play ranked because like they don't like seeing the number change. So because of that, casual battles are good. It's also just fun for testing stuff out. And of course, private battles. This is one of the bigger ones as well. I've spoken about it in the past. I'm a huge fan of draft leagues. I've played drafts in the past. One of my biggest issues with drafts in the more recent years, especially with Generation 9, was it was just like so hard to train mons. Like it was really hard to justify being a competitive player and playing draft because you would just spend so many resources on Pokemon that you would change weekly. It was like, oh, this week I want like a Terra Grass Hydreigon. This week I want a Terra Fairy Hydreigon. This week I want a Terra... And it was just way too much resources. And because of that, I'm like, I just can't play draft. So for me, that's huge. But also the other thing as well with private battles is we might actually be able to officially get our 6v6 competitive back, or like 6v6 singles, I should say. So, like I'm a big fan of guys like PokeAim, Thunderblunder 777 and whatnot. So hopefully those guys can, come out here and play some, 6v6 private battles with each other. And just, for content, I think it's better. Like, again, I love Pokemon. I've been following the competitive scene for well over 12 years at this point. And I love Showdown. I play a lot of Showdown, but playing on Showdown is not the same as playing in game. So yeah, that is like really, really cool. But we see here in the ranked battle mode, you'll test your skills against Pokemon trainers from all over the world. Your rank will change depending on your battle results. So kind of what we already knew, right? If you win, you get points. If you lose, you lose points. Hopefully there's like some time with Pokemon Home as well, so we can see exactly how many points we're on, similar to what we have now. So that would be cool. But yeah, this way, you'll sure to experience intense battles against trainers of similar skill level. Again, I think that's fun. Skill-based matchmaking is definitely very, very important in like any competitive game. And playing ranked battles also lets you obtain VP after your matches, depending on the outcome. So I would assume that this is Pokemon. Even if you lose, you're gonna get something. I would guess like if you win, it's like 1,000. If you lose, it's 500. That would be my assumption, right? In the casual battles mode, you can play without worrying about wins or losses affecting your rank. Just enjoy testing your team's performance against other players. It's a great way to experiment and perfect your strategies. Yeah, as I said, some people really like this. Personally, I'll always play on the ranked battle ladder just because it's like, that's just what I prefer. But I definitely know there is an audience for casual battles, so it is good that they've got it in there. And then, of course, private battles. In private battle mode, you select a format and battle against friends, family, or other people you know. Create a room where you and your opponent you'd like to face can have exciting battles. Again, I think as long as there is a lot of customization to these, like as we see in this screenshot here, they're playing 3v3, right? If you can change that to 6v6, that would be fantastic. If you can limit it to the amount, which Pokemon you can bring, I also think that would be fantastic. But the main thing, of course, is that in-game battle timer. Something as well, I don't know if I mentioned, I think this is the first screenshot of it too. A really, really nice feature here is Hydreigon's percent. You can see it's like 100%. That's awesome because it's like, I'm sure we've all been there, especially like as someone who's like played in-person events. Like I'll know a calc where I'm like, okay, I know this like does like 55% max, right? And I'm like looking at a HP bar and I'm like, is that 55? Is it like 57? Is it 53? Like, I don't know, right? Like, I know the percentages. I look at the bar. I don't know what the bar is, and I don't have time to sit there and like work it out. So this is actually really, really good, especially if you are someone who does like to memorize calcs. I do think having this percentage here is very, very nice. And then, yeah, we are at the bottom of it here. And we kind of mentioned this earlier, but yes, VP, you'll be earning it through ranked battles and other places. I do think it would be really cool if there are some events. And like I've mentioned it in the past as well, I do hope there is like some form of PvE. Again, that could be like a battle tower or something. And look, I think there's gonna be, which I do think is actually gonna be really cool as well, because like I am a huge fan of like PvP and challenge runs. So like it would be really nice if there was like some battle tower and it's like, oh, I beat the battle tower with baby Pokemon or something like that. But that's just me. But I do think having like ways to play the computer or, PvE and earn points is going to be really important. And I do think this kind of hints at it with other places in Pokemon Champions. I think that other places like a Battle Frontier, Battle Stadium, something along, those lines. And yeah, this year as well, I know a lot of people are going to be really happy about this. And again, I've copped shit in the past couple of weeks for my takes on this. I will say I never wanted there to be like VP purchased. I just want a battle pass. But again, I know that is apparently a pretty hot take in this community. But yeah, that's basically it for Pokemon Champions. A lot of very, very exciting stuff. I won't play the trailer here. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably seen the trailer already. But yeah, I am very, very excited for this. As I said, the 2026 is like this here is like the only big disappointing thing for me. But everything else in this trailer is super duper exciting. And there was one other thing. I won't go too much into it in this video because I do kind of plan on doing like a separate video on this. But Mega D-Night was announced, right? It is the first, I guess, Mega for Legends EA, which is really, really cool. I'll go, as I said, I'll go like into a breakdown of this later. just because like I do think this actually probably deserves its own video. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. It's just like purely speculation. But I mean, look, it's Mega D-Knight, right? If we have a look at D-Knight, we know that Megas get an additional... we know that Megas get an additional 100 points when they Mega Evolve. So it's like D-Knight's going to have like 700 BST. It keeps its, you know, same typing. And I've seen everyone is talking about this mon getting Aerial 8. If this gets Aerial 8 next to like Extreme Speed, and then I think it also gets Giga Impact, it's GG, man. Like this, like I'm a big Mega Salamence fan. I don't know if I can justify Hyper Voice when there's Extreme Speed on the board, but that's just me. That's just me. And again, that's a conversation for another video. But yeah, no, I'm actually super excited to see this. This does confirm as well that we're getting new Megas. And like I won't go into it here just because I know not everyone follows the leaks, but essentially every Mega in this game has been linked, or like most of them have. We obviously don't know because the leak happened like a year ago, but Mega D-Knight was one of the ones that was leaked like end of last year. So the fact that it is in the game does kind of point to potentially these leaks being real. But yeah, that's really cool. But as I said, I'll probably do a video later tonight about this because, yeah, I think D-Knight's really cool. I think this is a good mon. And I actually think this mon here is going to be really scary for competitive. But I will kind of touch on that later. But yeah, anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this one. As I mentioned at the start of the video, let me know down below what you thought of this trailer, man. I'm super excited. Like, again, there's so much cool stuff in Pokemon Champions. This slider here, dude, I'm so excited. I can't wait for it. But yeah, anyway, that's it for this one, guys. I'll catch you to the next one. Peace.